The first article I wanted to take a look at is titled QAnon's Queen of Canada Calls for Followers to People Vaccinating Children. This is some serious shit. This is written on Vice.com, but they're not the only ones that are covering this story. And I wanted to... Whoa, hello, kitty. I wanted to get into a couple of other examples of them going completely off the rails, like into disturbing territory. And we will get into that in a couple of minutes. We'll get into some video clips. But for the moment, while the cat sniffs my microphone and rubs up against it, let's give this a read and see what this Vice article had to say. Kitty, you're going to have to sit down. Or get down, one or the other. You going to get down? You going to get down or are you going to sit? Kitty, you got to get down or sit. You can't stand on the arm of my chair. Go on. Okay. This is written by Mac Lemereau. Earlier this week, the so-called QAnon Queen of Canada opened up duck hunting season in the Great White North. Now, to be clear, we aren't talking about hunters and hip waiters going after our fine-feathered friends with a loyal hound by their side. These duck hunters are soldiers of Roman Didulo, a Canadian woman who's convinced thousands of QAnon adherents that she's the secret ruler of Canada, targeting healthcare workers administering COVID-19 vaccines to children, politicians, journalists, and others who make up the cabal at the heart of the QAnon conspiracy. This is real shit. I actually tried to find this person, Roman Didulo. The most common kind of QAnon social media network, or the most common way they communicate with each other, is Telegram. That's one of the biggest ways. But I couldn't find her on Telegram. Apparently, she has a Telegram account of like 70,000 people, or she did. I don't know if she was removed by Telegram for these comments or what. I have no idea. I couldn't find her account anywhere, and I looked pretty fucking hard. In addition to that, it's also really, really difficult to get kicked off of Telegram. You have to do so fucking much. Like, they won't kick you off of Telegram for shit. But I am on Telegram following some of my favorite, Q conspiracy theorists. Like, for example, the Praying Medic. He has like 150,000 followers or 200,000 or something on Telegram, of all things. Praying Medic is massively famous. That's no small number, especially for like a social media network that is not really that used by most people. Like, a lot of people don't even know what Telegram is. So the fact that he has 200,000 on there, that's concerning. This is real shit. QAnon is real shit. Let's keep reading. In a post on Sunday to her over 70,000 followers on Telegram, Didulo issued an order to the soldiers of her Kingdom of Canada's military. She demanded the mass arrests of those they consider opposition and wanted her soldiers to take control of newspapers and seize the border. Yeah, why the hell is she a QAnon member? She lives in Canada. QAnon heavily focuses around Donald Trump as the leader. Why would anybody outside of the US even give a shit about any of this? This is like so mind-blowing to me. But they believe it's a worldwide issue. They believe that, there are these rings that operate in all different countries, and Donald Trump is going to take the presidency back in the United States, and he's going to, execute justice swiftly. Just real weird shit. Anyway, let's keep reading. To anyone who tries to inject children under the age of 19 years old with coronavirus 19 vaccines / bioweapons or any other vaccines, she wrote, this order is effective immediately. A follow-up post on Tuesday changed the wording from to arrest. Yeah, this is real shit. She had 70,000 followers on Telegram. Again, maybe her Telegram is under a name that I didn't know, but I searched for like all variations of her name and could not find her on Telegram. Please use airports, hospitals, schools, stadiums, and other public venues to hold and detain all traitors, the post said. They will stay there until military tribunal is held for each one of them until the day they're by a or Didulo doesn't have a passive audience. Over the summer, the British Columbian woman mobilized her audience into sending out thousands of cease and desist letters across North America. Some have recently popped up in Europe, demanding businesses, governments, and police forces stop all activities related to combating the pandemic. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Didulo implies that her duck hunters are secretive military veterans she's bringing in from the U.S., but on Telegram, a chat app known for its lax rules, over 6,000 of her online supporters have signed up to be part of Canada Military 2.0, a separate but inactive Telegram page where followers pledge to be part of Didulo's fighting force. I've offered my life for humanity and joined our Canadian duck hunters, one of her followers wrote. If you think this is a new revelation, this new wave of violence that they're using, or this violent rhetoric they're using, you would be incorrect. This has been going on for a little while, at least since the beginning of 2021, and it's been progressively getting worse and worse as time goes on. I wanted to look at a couple of pastors who are full-blown QAnon. Give this a listen. This one's from late November 2021, fairly recent.
What you have to do is end this madness, because their madness will never end if we don't stand up to it. 10 years from now, they will still be imposing vaccines on people in order for you to breathe. Oh, you want to breathe? Oh, you're going to have another booster. I mean, they're going to continue to restrict the rights of people until there is nothing left.
Yes.
And so you have to stop them, and you have to be prepared for the unthinkable to be implemented to stop them. We're going into world war, and it's a world war against tyrants. And the people are going to have to fight this war on their own against the tyrants. The tyrants are worldwide in the government. The governments of the world. The tyrants are against the people. The ruling class is against the people of the world. It's going to have to be a global revolution to crush them. Not just slow them down or roll back their plans, but utterly to crush them so that they never get up and try this again.
This is Rick Wiles, Pastor Rick Wiles from True News. He's got a pretty decently sized audience, a big audience. It's a full-blown news network. Now, it's not as popular as, say, CNN or whatever. It's heavily right-wing. And like I said, he's QAnon, so this one isn't that old. This is from November. We're going to go back a little bit further and see some older clips. He's been saying something similar for a while. This is not new. Well, it's reasonably new, I guess. You could say it's new if you mean in the past year it's been ramping up heavily. Let's finish this clip out. Let's see what else he had to say.
That'd be 100 years until somebody even has this stupid thought in their head again, that they're going to take away the rights and freedoms of people. It has to be so devastating that it goes down in the history books that the people rose up and utterly crushed them and ended the tyranny.
I mean, that's their pretext for tyranny, ending tyranny. Isn't that fascinating? It's fucking concerning. This clip, I'm not actually sure how old this one is. This clip may have actually been from 2020, but give this one a listen, see what he says.
Come on, left. We're going to meet you in the streets this time. We're going to defend this state of Florida. We're not going to put up with this stuff anymore. The left, you better pack up and flee. If you're part of this communist revolution, lefties, you better get out of the country.
Yeah, I'm not a communist by any stretch of the imagination. I am not a communist. I do not believe in communism. But in his eyes, I am. So where's the line? Where does Pastor Rick Wiles draw the line? Who's he talking to here exactly? I'm not communist, but I guarantee you he's talking about me.
You better, if you're part of this communist revolution, lefties, you better get out of the country. If we find out you're a part of the communist revolution, we're coming after you. All right? I don't care. FBI, put my name down on a list. Go ahead and do it. Do it. I don't care.
That's fucking concerning right there. And this clip is about a year old, I would say. This has been ramping up for a while. I'm not actually sure when this clip is from either. And in fact, this one is a little bit older. This clip's a little bit older, maybe a year and a half old, because I remember he didn't have this beard until fairly recently. He only grew this beard in the past like year or so. So I'm going to guess it's about 18 months old. Give this one a listen.
If they take him out.
Talking about Donald Trump here.
If they take him out, there's going to be violence in America. That's all there is to it.
And when we say take him out,
However he leaves, there's going to be violence in America.
Hey, how about that? He was correct. He was correct. There was violence on January 6th when Donald Trump was leaving the White House. As a matter of fact, inspired by Donald Trump himself. This guy seems to celebrate it. In a few minutes, I don't remember if I cut this part out or not because for time constraints, but I'll tell you, he says, this isn't something that I wish for. I don't want this violence, but it's inevitable. It's going to happen because the commies, blah, 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 just into conspiracy land all of a sudden. So he says, I don't want it, but then continues on to justify it to himself. You know, it's okay in this situation. I do want it in this situation because the commies are taking over and they're doing this thing and that thing and ruining our country, blah, blah, blah.
There are people in this country, veterans, there are cowboys.
Look at this proud look on his face while he talks about cowboys. This clip cracks me up every fucking time. That is the tagline of my show, hilarious and sad.
Mountain men, I mean guys that know how to fight. Okay? And they're going to make a decision that the people that did this to Donald Trump are not going to get away with it. And they're going to hunt him down. The Trump supporters are going to hunt them down.
I don't know when this clip was exactly, if it was before the election took place or after. I believe it was before the election even happened, like before November 3rd or 4th or whenever it was. The reason I think that is because he doesn't have his beard, and he's been growing that beard for a while. If I really wanted to, I could go back and find out exactly when this clip was, but he was basically preparing for the eventuality that Donald Trump is going to lose the election before the election even took place, and priming his audience to do what he believes they need to do when that happens. That's fucking concerning.
The Trump supporters are going to hunt them down.
Yeah. It's the kind of shit we're dealing with. This clip is recent, late November 2021, and you know what? This one is from a lieutenant governor of North Carolina. I think it's North Carolina. Dude's name is Mark Robinson. Give this one a listen. It's a little hard to hear, but I'll tell you what he says. It's short.
We're facing a federal government that, let's face it, is tyrannical.
We're facing the federal government, and let's face it, it's tyrannical.
Oh, yeah.
It is tyrannical. Guys, this is the type of government the Second Amendment was made for.
It's tyrannical. Guys, this is the type of government the Second Amendment was made for. This is a lieutenant governor. This is the second in command in all of North Carolina, the entire state. That's some real shit. Things are starting to ramp up now. You thought things were ramping up around January 6th? They're ramping up now. Listen to this clip. This is from late October 2021. This is actor Jim Caviezel. He was from the movie Passion of the Christ. He played Jesus in that, directed by Mel Gibson. He's giving a speech at a QAnon conference. Dude is full-blown QAnon, by the way. And as it turns out, this speech sounds a little familiar. He is word for word directly quoting the movie Braveheart by Mel Gibson. Check this one out.
Fight and you may die. Run and you'll live. For at least a while. And dying in your beds many years from now, would you have been willing to trade all the years from this day to that for one chance? Just one chance to come back here and tell our enemies that you can take our lives, but you can never take our freedom. Every man dies.
He said that without cracking a smile. That is impressive. I can't imagine anybody saying that unironically, but it seems like he achieved the impossible. That kind of speech was a motivator in the movie Braveheart for people to get violent. That's what it was about. Dude was trying to get people revved up into a blood frenzy. What do you think Jim Caviezel's doing with that speech? Let's keep listening.
You can never take our freedom. Every man dies. Not every man truly lives. You. We must fight for that authentic freedom and live, my friends. By God, we must live. And with the Holy Spirit as your shield and Christ as your sword, may you join Saint Michael and all the angels in defending God and sending Lucifer and his henchmen straight right back to hell where they belong.
These people are unhinged, guys. These people are unhinged from reality. at this point. The news is writing about this person, Didulo. That's only surprising because, for one thing, they try to speak in veiled messages. Sorry, bumped my mic. They try to speak in veiled messages. They don't want to just come out and say it, because if they come out and say it openly, then they can be charged for this under certain laws, incitement of violence laws and stuff like that. Some of this stuff isn't protected under the First Amendment, and Canada doesn't even have a First Amendment. Like, they have a totally separate Bill of Rights from the U.S. They have different freedom of speech laws and rules and stuff than us. So the really surprising part is that she decided to make herself vulnerable to possible prosecution by saying something like this openly and outright. And the second surprising thing about this is the fact that she had such a large following when she said this. It's not really surprising, it's more concerning. We should be a little bit worried at this point. 70,000 Telegram followers on an obscure social media network, and on top of that, only a few thousand who are really genuinely active and believe themselves to be literal soldiers. The QAnon movement call themselves digital soldiers and, treat it like they're really in a military as digital soldiers. And this person seems to be building an army of actual soldiers, not just digital ones, but actual ones, and made the call to mobilize those supposed actual soldiers against frontline workers, against parents and children, and whoever it takes to turn the world into what they want it to look like. That's fucking scary.